welcome back to the Essex Allotment farm. For those who don't know me, my name is Alex. I'm a commercial grower here in Essex, and I grow organically for markets, farmers markets, my veg box service, and some chefs locally. This video is going to be about me planting my rhubarb crowns. I'm talking really well in this video again already. My rhubarb crowns that are finally being delivered. I'll update you on the compost that we started in the last vlog because it's fired up already, only 48 hours on, and we'll have a look at how that's going. And yeah, that'll be about it for the vlog today. We might have a quick look at some of the other areas, but stick with me and I'll show you how things are getting on. So just quickly, for those who didn't see my last vlog, I picked up these two spinning compost bins on Facebook Marketplace for next to nothing. I filled one of them with a concoction, which you can go and see in more detail on the last vlog, pretty much 48 hours ago exactly, this time 2 days ago. So we're just going to, as promised, stick the compost thermometer that is already showing about 14 degrees, the outside temperature in, and look how it's going. Like the countdown clock. Okay, so it's not quite as hot as it was when I first got to the farm. Oh no, yeah, it's still going. I must have just got an air pocket. So we're looking at 44 degrees, which is what, 110 in Fahrenheit, which is good for 48 hours. Not bad at all. So for such a small pile, and for just 48 hours in, that's a great temperature. What I've done, I didn't film it unfortunately when I got here because I was too excited, is I stuck the thermometer straight in, and it was showing around similar temperature. I'll stick the picture up, I can't remember what it was exactly, but similar temperature. And then so I've just given it a spin. I'm going to spin it every couple of days, and then when I feel like it's really starting to work, I will stop spinning it. But yeah, it's a really positive start, really great start to the composting. I'm going to get the lid back on now, trap that heat in there and let it do its thing. But for February the 3rd, so winter, with the outside temperature being probably close to around 10 degrees today, that's a positive start for the compost bin. So we're in the communal area this morning. Now we've finished messing around with the compost, which is by my little shed that I've got here to keep tools in. The gate, again, those of you that have followed for a long time will be familiar with the layout, but it goes all the way the full length of the field up that way. But yeah, this is the communal area where we've got we keep bits and bobs. We've got some herbs growing along here, perennial herbs. We've got a few sort of raised beds, and then we've got this patch over here that was just an old compost heap from before my time. So the soil over here is fantastic, and although it's right on the edge of the field, right next to the ditch, sort of not within the fencing, I've decided to make this my huge rhubarb patch. So I've got some help here today, as you can see behind me, and he is digging the holes. It's my dad, by the way. He's digging the holes for the rhubarb to go into. So all I've done to prep the ground here is made a square with some weed membrane to stop the grasses creeping in. It was an old compost patch. I've had some of the rabbit manure and bedding down for a couple of months on this patch, to sort of just keep the weeds at bay, keep the grass at bay, add nutrients to the soil. What we're going to do is dig holes for the 30 rhubarb crowns that I've got, fill them with a little bit more well-rotted compost, and plant the rhubarb crowns in them. You can see, well, I'll show you in more detail in a minute, but I've done the first 4 just to work out spacings. We're marking them with little stakes, just so I know where they are until they sort of sprout above the soil properly. So yeah, that's the job for today. So this is the area here. This is some old rhubarb plants that you'll have seen in the shots earlier. that I moved from the old site sort of just before Christmas, and there's all the way down that strip there, and then this is the patch for the new 30. I don't know if I'm going to get 30 in, it might actually be 26, but rhubarb here, so 4 across in this patch. You can see the stakes in the back here, bits of bamboo, 4 across and 6 deep, and this is probably 3 meters across by maybe 6 meters up, so they'll end up having about, yeah, probably about 1 meter squared, not quite 1 meter squared space for each crown. So these are the rhubarb crowns. As I said, there's already 4 in the ground of this batch. They're from a company called RHUBAB CROWNS. I got all my strawberries, which I'll stick a picture up of if I can find one, from them last year. My strawberries are absolutely fantastic, so I went for rhubarb crowns from them as well. They're a specific fruit, wholesale fruit plant distributors. They grow and distribute their own plants, so that's really good, and they're only in Norfolk, so they haven't come that far, and they look in fairly decent shape. A little bit of fungal activity on them, that ain't going to do any harm. It'll benefit, if anything. Some smallish size ones, you can see the tops there, smallish size ones, and then some bigger crowns as well, so a bit of a mismatch, but there's at least 30 in there, which is what I ordered. I think there was actually a couple of extra ones because a couple of them are small, so good value. I'm happy with that. Here's a bit of a better look at the process. So as you can see, these stakes here, we've got 4 across, about, yeah, maybe 60 centimeters apart. I'm digging a hole probably 30 centimeters deep. I'll put some fresh compost in the bottom of that just to give them a bit of a boost, because they are really hungry plants. I'll cover them apart from the tips with compost as well, and then I will then just cover over the top with the manure and bedding, which won't do it any harm at all. So yeah, that's the process I'm using to plant the rhubarb, so let's get cracking. Look at this, right? He's 60, maybe 60 years old, and I've got the camera in my hand doing practically nothing apart from talking to you guys, and I've got him shoveling manure from the compost heap, or sorry, compost from the compost heap. He loves it. He's probably fitter than me anyway. Wave, Dad. So as I just said, we've chucked some compost in the bottom of these holes, just give them that nutrient boost that they'll need. They're just placed on top. Now I'll fill that again around those with fresh compost from the wheelbarrow that Dad kindly filled up, and then we'll cover just with the straw, which I'll show you in a minute. So it's a really easy process to plant them. It's not going to take too long at all. The hardest part is to actually work out which way round to plant the rhubarb. So you're looking at, I'm looking for these tiny little crowns where the rhubarb's sort of started to poke through, and that needs to be at the top, or maybe just above the surface. This one's got a particularly flat bottom from where it's been cut from its sort of mother crown, so it will go in that way round. That's about the hardest part of the whole process. This one's really easy, that's why I've picked it to show you. Some of them are a little bit harder to tell, but yeah, that will go in that last hole. We'll cover those up like I've just said, and get on to the next ones. So I've backfilled those now while we're digging the next holes. You can see I've composted around them, but not necessarily right over the top of the crown. I'll put in the stakes just so I know where they are until they start sprouting up. I'm just going to rake these little mounds of bedding and manure back over the top, give them a water in when I do it all together, and that is how I'm planting my rhubarb crowns. Really simple. so that's that job done. I managed to get 24 rhubarb plants in this sort of block that I was talking about. Means I've got 6 left in the box over here, and I came up with a little idea as I was planting them. As we were doing the work, I was thinking and spitballing ideas with my dad about what to do with the 6, where to put them, and effectively we'd be squeezing them in, and I don't want to go any close to the ditch here. It's not a very nice part of the farm anyway. Like I said, the only reason I'm using this particular patch here is because it was an old compost or manure heap. I don't know what was here before, but the ground is really, really fertile, and I did well with my potatoes here last year, so I didn't want to waste all the nutrients that's in this patch of soil. So what I've decided to do with the 6 that are in there is I'm going to pot them up into pots. I'm going to grow them on into small plants like you'd find in the garden centre, and sell them, and try and make some of, if I sold them for say somewhere between 6 and 8 quid a plant, which is what you'd find a rhubarb plant for in a garden centre around here, they'll pay, that's about half. If I sold all 6, that would make me about 48 quid, and it would pay for about half of what I've spent on the rhubarb crowns here. So yeah, that's the plan for the 6 spare ones. If you're wondering, we were just chatting to my dad. The potatoes that were grown here last year, Charlotte potatoes, did fairly well, but this year they'll be going in the beds. Now we've got more space cultivated in the actual beds. So there'll be 4 beds is the initial plan of potatoes to go in up the very, very far end of the field this season. So just a little bit of change around in season 2 on the farm. Right, that's it for today's vlog. It was only a quick one. That's all I've got done today. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop me in the comments below what you think about my plan for rhubarb, what you think about the compost firing up in the first 48 hours, and I'll see you in the next one later in the week. Bye bye.